Well, I agree with Warren Buffett. It's not fair that he pays a smaller percentage of his income in taxes than his secretary does. And I firmly believe that all Americans, we need to pay our fair share. But the Republican leadership has been pursuing an approach that doesn't work. At the same time they've been pursuing tax cuts for the upper 1%, they have wanted to increase military spending. They tell us they want to maintain the safety net. They want to balance the budget, and they want to pay down the deficit. We can't do that under the proposal that they have. Look, here's what we know. We have to share in this equitably. We all bear responsibility. We have to look at revenue, and we have to look at ways that we choose to control spending. That is what's going to help us out, not the failed agenda that the political leadership has been pursuing in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Ms. Porterfield. Congressman Reichert.
Well, I happen to serve on the Ways and Means Committee. I serve on the Trade Subcommittee and the Healthcare Subcommittee. And we're right now in the middle of tax reform discussions. In the last 2 years, we've had at least 30 hearings on tax reform. And we're poised to begin that debate even further when we come to the lame duck session into the next January. When you talk about taxes, what we want to do is make a fair tax, where people around this country feel that they're all being a part of the solution. And when we look at corporate taxes, we want to make sure that our corporations across this country and across the globe, especially those that compete with foreign companies, that they can compete on a fair level, that they can be competitive across this globe. So we need to look at a tax code that gives them an effective tax rate of 25%, lowering it from 35%. We need to look at opportunities to remove tax burdens and barriers that prevent companies like Microsoft from bringing their billions of dollars, and right now they have $40 billion sitting offshore, because if they bring it back, they're taxed again. We want to change that so they can bring their money back and create jobs right here in the United States, right here in Washington State. When we look at the current tax brackets, what I would like to see, and what I've heard my opponent say in a previous forum, is she agreed with the extension of the current tax brackets for 1 year. That gives us time on the Ways and Means Committee to continue our debate and our discussion. Before I left Washington, D.C., Dave Camp called together the Ways and Means Committee, Democrats and Republicans together. And he said the Ways and Means Committee has a responsibility constitutionally and historically to come together, bipartisan, and work on a solution for a fair, simpler tax, corporate and individual. Charlie Rangel, Sandy Levin, and others on the committee on the Democrat side agreed. And so I left Washington, D.C. feeling with a little bit of a glimmer of hope that Democrats and Republicans are going to work together to come up with a fair tax code. And yes, some may have to pay a little bit more.
Thank you, Congressman.